Okay, we're on air. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live on the internet, on YouTube, on Google+. But the most important thing is that you're going to have a chance to present your portfolios to your colleagues and then see yourself present. So each of you will have 5 minutes total. We're going to have quick transitions. Feel free to go grab some popcorn and some Skittles in between. But I'll call your name if you're up next, but I think you can pretty much figure out who's next in alphabetical order. So for the World Wide Web, welcome to Environmental Visual Communication, Photographic Methods, Portfolios. We're going to start at the top with Aisha.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave my pictures up and I'll move here so I can speak to the room. Okay, so hello world, hello class. Okay, so my love of photography was a pretty interesting journey. It actually started with a love of street art. So I love to take back alleys and I love to see the newest, as I call, art exhibit. Get really attached to these like pieces of art that you see every day, and all of a sudden one day you'll go by and you paint it over, they'll be tagged and they're gone. So for me, I actually started taking pictures of these with my cell phone as a way to preserve them and archive art that would never be preserved in a museum. So I really didn't put much thought into it, but I realized now at the time I was actually developing skills in framing and composition. Although at the time I just thought it was a silly hobby. And that photography was just a way for me to capture something that I might lose in the future. So when I signed up for this program, I went out and bought myself a fancy camera. And so I had my first DSLR camera, and I took it out with me out to EVC, and I spent my time in the woods with my friend Dave and his dog Gracie. And I took the camera with me everywhere. And I started off the usual way. I started taking pictures of landscapes. They weren't really doing anything for me. So I aimed my camera at the ground. And I started seeing all sorts of things that I hadn't noticed before. I started noticing patterns. I started noticing color, texture. And I actually became much more interested in taking these kinds of pictures than taking the landscape pictures. So I'm, I think, naturally drawn to color and contrast, as well as texture. And I'm a huge plant geek. I love plants, and as I get down on the ground and take these pictures, I realize there's sort of a very beautiful architecture and structure to them. They're very chaotic. Like, it looks like, you know, it's very organic and there's nothing structured or planned, but there's actually a lot of geometry to them, and that's what I find very beautiful. So I'd say that my style is definitely still in progress. I'm still learning how to use my camera. I'm trying different things. I'm trying different techniques. But what I really have noticed when I was forced to sit down and do this project and go through all my pictures is that I really use photography as a way not to capture something beautiful, but as a way to challenge the world to see beauty in the picture that I have captured. And so what I'd like to do, where I'd like to go from here, is I'd really like to get into portrait photography. I know that's a very big change from plants, but now that I have these added skills, I'm really interested in the challenge. I'm really interested in taking pictures of people who are moving and sort of working on all sorts of different things at once, like getting the camera to stay, like holding the camera, not getting a blurry picture, getting the eyes in focus. What I really do love about portrait photography is that you have to try and get the person to step out of their shell. I realized this by sticking my camera in my boyfriend's face a million times over. If I don't crack a joke or make him smile, he's going to look like a serial killer. So I really need to put him at ease, and that's when just when I get him to laugh, that's when I get that beautiful smile. So I really want to get into portrait photography. And I feel that photography not only can be a tool to preserve something that might be lost, it's not just a tool to sort of get to see the world from a different angle and to really look at what's at our ground, like what's at our feet, details we may miss, but it's also a way to sort of capture more than just a face.
4 minutes. Any comments from the crowd?
Yeah. Well spoken.
Great story. Great story, well spoken. Yeah, good words.
And followed your images. Yeah, lay it there.
Which was your favorite out of all of those?
There's my favorite in terms of technique, and then there's my favorite in terms of emotional attachment. I really like the street art photography because those are from my trip to Central America. Those are from Mexico and Guatemala and Honduras. So there's a massive emotional connection. I really like the picture of the bud that I got recently. I love the pattern in the bud, and I love that I didn't take a picture of the flower. I took a picture of the bud instead, and it ended up being a much better picture.
So I liked that you had the grid of all your photos for us to see them all the whole time, and it sort of followed the pattern as you spoke about that. That was cool. I would also love if at some point some of the photos would have gone full screen, or you could have spoken to one or two of them in particular.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's nice to see the photos nice and big when you're presenting the portfolio. Yeah, open. It's also nice to see, all of them at once. So it all depends on your style, but seeing nice, big, full frame photos is really good.
Can we stand near the computer?
Yeah, you can talk from the computer.
Yeah, will the camera still be on?
And if you, yes, yeah. And if you hit the play button, it'll be goes full screen.
Can I say something? I was just gonna say I thought it was really cool, like a new look at conservation photography through taking pictures of things that would painted over. That's really cool. Never thought of it that way. And this is
So Sean's up next for the evaluator's chair. So remember to take a big breath, stretch your legs, grab some popcorn if you need to. You don't have to every time.
I don't mind if I do.
Make them full screen. You might be able to. Hit the play button again, see what happens. Down at the bottom. Yeah. Right in the middle of the.
No, this is like there's
Round two, and Sophie. Here we go.
So I'm going to make a brief introduction. So I actually received my first camera when I was like 8 or 10 years old, and I have taken pictures since then. But I still don't really feel like I'm a really professional photographer, and I bought my first DSLR actually for this program. So I'm still very new in that. So basically I will show you my old picture without the DSLR, then my first steps with this DSLR camera, and then where I want to go to my photograph. So yeah, as Brian said, I posted many pictures of cheetahs, but the point was not really to show cheetahs, but basically what I like, my style, and what I like to do is to really zoom on the subjects I photography and like make close-ups photographs. And yeah, I'm very interested in wildlife. So basically these ones I even didn't crop them, I just take the picture like that. I like the interaction with the eyes, I focus on the eyes of the subject. And I also like these kind of pictures where yeah, there is like an interaction with another animal or something happening. Also this one, I actually again when I said why didn't you crop it, but actually I like this way. I like when the subject is in the middle of the photo. And anyway, at this time I didn't know, I had no clue about the rule of thirds, so but I still like it like that. So all these ones were not taken with the DSLR. As for this one again, I focused on the eyes. I didn't crop it, but I changed it. I made it actually black and white in Lightroom. I just discovered Lightroom as well, so I don't really, I don't think I will use it that much in the future, but I use it to crop it or change some colors. All these animals were taken in like Namibia or South Africa. Also, this is not a close-up, but I like the movement in it and the light. So it's what I'm looking for when I take a photograph. And this one actually, there is a story behind this one, but I don't have the time to explain it in 5 minutes, but I wrote it in Google Plus. But basically, I like also when there is a story to say with the picture. This one actually was it's a rare scene, basically. I also like, I don't know why, but like patterns. So basically it's like linked with the fact I like to zoom on things because I see like a tree or a different, like on the left is Hawaii, on the top left in Australia, and on the right it's a lava, a cold lava beach actually. So I just like the, yeah, I don't know why, but I like patterns and take picture like this. And on the right actually it's like, could be a storytelling, like life after it's growing again after a disaster. I really like landscape, but I'm not good at it. So basically, that's the only one I have, which I like the lights and the colors. And here are my first steps with my DSLR. So again, first time I went out and I again focused on to zoom on something. Also, I went for the wildlife where I was basically ducks in Switzerland. And I was still trying to figure out how the manual mode is working. So yeah, I was kind of happy with this one because I tried to capture it was like moving the head. So when I really liked the light and that mountain, so this is first try. And I tried my first portrait as well, and here now also in Toronto. And this one is in 2 views. I still have to learn more. And so, what's my next step? Is probably I want to go more into portraits but with natural light, and probably more in environmental portraits. And I cannot wait to really try my new DSLR on wildlife in Africa.
Good timing. So it's nice to see those photos big and full frame. I know we came up sort of right at 6:30, but when it comes to new platforms, like presenting on a PC or bringing your stuff on a memory key, like when Neil and I presented with Yasmin in Niagara, we had tested stuff, but we didn't test it all the way through. So it showed up, but then we ended up having hiccups with the videos. It's always good to come early, especially on presentation days. Test audio, test videos. If you can, run it all the way through. Just to make sure that you know how your stuff is gonna go, because you can never be so confident as when you know it's gonna work. And when you're fiddling with stuff because it's not working at the beginning, then it can kind of throw off your game, but you got right back, your game face right on again, and you did really well to present right on time. Anything from my coaching?
Oh. Sorry. You, based off of your photos, like even the ones that you took like that were not with the fancy camera that you have now, like your EVC camera, you can tell that you have an eye for composition, so you have that. And that was awesome. Like some of the photos that you took, like I didn't even believe that they were taken with like the equipment that you had, which was awesome. One thing that I'm really conscious of with any sort of presentation is everyone familiar with a rising intonation?
No.
So like kind of like when your voice sort of goes up at the end of every sentence, it's sort of like kind of what I'm doing like right now, and it makes your audience sort of question your confidence, because it makes it it frames all of your sentences like a question. Like a question. Yeah. So that's just something to be sort of mindful of. But other than that,
Good to know. That's a really good point. And especially from our, is everybody else's first language English here? Or was anyone born Spanish? Born French? Born speaking French?
Do I remember any of it?
So speaking in your second language too, excellent job. But good to know about the rising intonation. I hadn't considered it before. So as soon as Sean submits that one, sorry.
So much.
Join me in the hot chair.
Once you recognize it, usually it's hard to see it all the time. So how does that? What? I was like, what are you?
I was trying to stop myself. I was like,
So this was a good example of a smooth transition. Austin found his stuff as we submitted and made some comments. So if we can keep this up, then we'll be right on time for it. Next up, Austin.
Hello, everyone. As you can see, I've tucked my shirt into my pants. Something special is happening today. I'm going to talk to you sort of about my brief, let's say, stint in photography so far. I've dabbled before. I have an old DSLR, and sort of around when I figured out I was getting into this program, I wanted to do some more photographic, obvious reasons. So one quest that I wanted to get into while I was in Belleville is just sort of show people what's happening to beautiful nature. And this is a little subject, it's a bit, sensitive for me. Big little woodlot near my house. They just leveled it one day. I just sort of walked past. It's like, whoa, that sucks. And so I was like, I want to try and get something meaningful out of that. So I took my old camera and I just sort of played around. And came up with something like this, just as a work in progress. I'm like, okay, I've got something here, and sticking with the theme, some cat profile pictures, whatever you have. They're great subjects if they're calm. You can get a lot of pictures, and so this is another sort of aspect I'm just looking at is wildlife up close, and sort of following again the more visceral scenes. We have this neat scene at Pressfield Park when they were doing the huge bird migration there, big volunteer thing. Really hard to see the birds, but these huge ice things were really cool, just from the cold waves splashing up on the beach, and they made these huge ice things. And I was like, that's really neat. So again, I want to get a shot of this because it looks cool. So I did. Actually did get some birds, some swans here. This is maybe about the best I got that day. Really foggy, really rainy. But I got a couple swans, did see a bald eagle as well there too. So again, sort of working with that. As I developed my progress, I went to do a field trip. I went to the aquarium in Toronto. Very difficult to shoot, it's not very bright in there. So I did get some stuff. One thing I did really like was the jellyfish. I got a whole bunch of pictures of jellyfish and they looked awesome. Except none of the pictures looked awesome. So I had to play with that. So I got into Lightroom and started adjusting just sliders. Came up with some really cool stylized, just up the blue saturation and white balance. Got something a little arty. Enjoyed it a lot. Again, sort of going from a more artistic nature scene. This is just a little piece of snow, like tiny. This is like great. I just set my camera down in the middle of the Bay of Quinte in the winter, beautiful, and just tried to get something out of it. I forget if I actually fooled around with the colors in these or not, so this might not be the actual thing. But again, sort of trying to develop different styles, exploring, sort of looking where I wanted to go. Again, nature walks. Love the winter. A lot of my stuff here is going to be about the winter. We have this little island of trees. I like throwing the black and white on there, give it sort of a better contrast, I think. And sort of exploring that same thing. I did a little double exposure experiment where I had the woods in the back and then another sort of scene was the same area with houses. I just wanted to mix those together, sort of see what happened again, sort of exploring where I could take my work. Again, cats. Give up the cats. Again, sort of framing the subject, I had these two strong red lines here, so it was a cute pose. Thought it was an interesting light. You can see, explaining cats. Some pigeons. Who doesn't like photographing pigeons? I like this shot. I sort of re-reviewed it again. I was like, whoa, that eye just sort of really pops. Again, so going back to the woodlot, just sort of experimenting with that as a sunset. I just wanted to sort of try and get any maybe a physical or emotional connection into this. I don't really think I did. Like, I think I could go back and maybe rework sort of that scene. So I sort of moved around with the macro stuff, which is sort of where I'll be going from here. Spoilers. This is my first successful shot. I got a really cool shot of the underside of a fern. It was a lot grosser than I expected. Dabbling in that same thing, off on the nature walks. Just wanted to get this. I thought it was beautiful light. The moss were all sort of sprouting their spores. I want to do that. I think I could definitely stip that out. But gotta stay conscious. Mankind does leave this one. Still wanted to explore the close stuff. I'm doing some fungi and just working with the colors, making it pop. Same picture there. Then I started getting a bit more serious. Got that cool macro lens. Got this neat little spider guy, not very much in focus, but I liked where it was going. I like sort of how he was standing there. Another spider, sort of nailed it with that guy, I feel. There's really cool close pictures. You can see a lot. I really like that kind of stuff. This is a bat picture I took. That's a bat, in case you didn't know. He's real cute. And this is sort of when Bert Lynn was freeing the bats in Baker's Woods during Bioblitz. 1 minute, 30 seconds.
10 seconds.
Finalizing it, these two last pictures I shot off. I really think I'm sort of excelling at getting those macro shots, especially in the wild. This is just in my home backyard. Lots of cool critters. So where I want to go from here is maybe more documentarian style, like even with video as well. Like I really like National Geographic, that kind of stuff, like their old documentaries. I want to see the animals in their own habitat doing things that animals do that maybe people aren't seeing all the time. And I think that's like the coolest thing.
Super animated. The presentation style obviously matches your personality, which is great. So that is a very clear resonance in your photography, is sort of matching your personality too. So that's also a good resonance. What I'm going to do from now on is I'll just leave this up here so that you guys can see the time and time yourself accordingly, rather than waiting on my random signals. Sorry about that. So partly my fault for sure. Next up is going to be this guy. But we need a couple more points, one from the crowd, maybe one from Sam.
Questions, comments, suggestions?
Well, one for me, like, I think hand gestures in a presentation
or just keep the crowd motivated and, you know, it's really animated.
Nope, keep going. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe you focused a little bit too much on the past and not what you're focusing on right now. Like, I felt like you focused a lot more on that and not kind of what you've taken away from the program itself a little bit. I don't know if that's something you could add it on a bit more. But yeah, I love the humor of this stuff and
Satisfying.
Austin, I think that was great.
Oh, thanks,
Your
man.
color
So nice.
is powerful. Oh,
You look so
just
spitzy.
get the eyes into it.
Can't stop him. Are you sure it's
Oh, sorry.
Like, I really find some.
I have never asked you like all of these amazing questions that I have so past, and I need to know all of them. I need to be with you next time. I want she does in my life. I want she does, and I want your cat, and I want your wife. Bring me with you.
I
do that. I do that. Oh, for a thing? Yeah. But I'm saying, you know, I can't do all of it. Except for
So you are all in charge of your own clock from now on. This is Avery's time, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
So, this is just kind of doing it on its own. I gotta stay on top of the buttons. Is there a pause button? If I hit spacebar, it'll just stay on there. So, full disclosure, this isn't actually my picture. It's just a picture of me to kind of set the context for what you're about to see. So, this is what I do as a hobbyist and passion. I go to a lot of music festivals, I play at them and help put them together a lot of the time. Which is really, really fun. You meet a lot of interesting people and you see a lot of things you would never see just in the city walking around. So it's given me a lot of opportunities to connect with really interesting people, and I feel like going forward, that's kind of what I'm going to pursue, is just trying to capture moments, and I really am developing the sense of being a people person. So coming into this course, I've learned so much about conservation. Right? So many people, including yourself, Brennan, have worked really hard, like following turtles around for days and days and days. Like, to me, that is amazing work. But for me, like, I'm very much a humanitarian, and I want to continue doing that. So a lot of what I want to bring forward in photography is just capturing people. These are good friends of mine who I go to a lot of these festivals with, and they're a pretty fun crew. You can tell. We also do like stage design, installation work. This is just a shot outside of my place. My friend Serge working on some deco pieces. This is at Landscape Festival, which I was at this fall actually, just at the start of this program. So my friend Amanda walking a little footbridge that we had to build out of pallets and wood and stuff. I really like this. It's got kind of got this ethereal sort of ghosty realm sort of feel to it. Nothing really in focus, but you really get a sense of like it's a kind of magical land we're gonna come up with. Again, yeah, friends of mine. This is their trailer that they called up. And, again, yeah, just capturing people, moments, and just obviously very interesting, eccentric folk. This is my friend Chantal with beautiful little baby there. A lot of these events that we go to, they're performances. So this is a fire spinner named Maya. So she's got a staff that she's walking around. It's pretty impressive. To get that shot, I took about maybe 50 or so shots, and maybe one kind of turned out and I could work with. So a lot of what I've been finding is it's really just about putting yourself in the moment and just like putting yourself in the right spot. Don't worry about getting exposure. Don't worry about getting everything. Just take a bunch of pictures, and one of them will probably work out. Again, just moments. yourself in the position to get the photo. So I guess when it comes to philosophy, that's really it for me. It's not obviously the composition, the technical elements has a lot to do with it, but it really is just about being in the right spot. Again, just, moments with people. This is a stage that I helped put together at the most recent Solstice Festival. It's actually a week-long event. People are here. The organizers are there for 3 weeks total, plus a week of teardown afterwards. So it's very ambitious. And, lots of really cool art installations, stuff like that. These are my friends Ray and Sue. Ray makes all his own instruments. All that woodwork you see there, made, handcrafted himself. And they do kind of live performance. So it's a little T10. This is my musical collaborator, Doug. This is the stage we played on this one. And yeah, just more performance stuff. This was the main stage of this festival. I thought that turned out really well. It took a lot of color correction and post editing and exposure, especially in nighttime settings. Really, really tough. But yeah, it's really just get as many shots as you can. You can fix them up later. That's pretty much it. Yeah, big family of festival goers. And that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna whiz through the rest of these really quick, and you kind of get a sense of what I'm all about. That's pretty much it. I also like activisty things. So this is actually the woman I'm doing my placement with on the right here. That's Jody. So this was at the Farm to Fork Festival marching against Monsanto. Yeah, that's all the time I got. So. This is a new technique I kind of just started working with now that I have a tripod. Just doing really long exposures with a small aperture, and then walk into the scene, so you kind of get this ghost effect. So like I took the picture, clicked the shutter, and then went and sat there for a couple seconds. So you kind of get this ghosty. So this is my bedroom. This is me working on deco stuff. So that's what I just started doing now, probably.
Cool, thanks. I like your casual presentation style. Like it feels like a conversation, obviously. And your photos are also very candid and casual. So there's a resonance there between your photos and your presentation style. So that's good.
Yeah, I agree. You're so good at night photography, like the lighting. It's always not.
I'm not actually.
No, you are. Well, the ones you chose.
Yeah, the ones I picked. Well, maybe you wouldn't be. Yeah, the amount of bad photos you have to go through to find good photos is just.
Robert is the next.
And I would say like next time, you kind of like talking about each picture, and so I think I would have like a little bit more of a connection like between all of them, so you could pull out those stuff. Because I was totally seeing like the nighttime stuff or like different lighting that you were really drawn to, but it would be good to like mention that instead of each story. Yeah.
You're off the I'm so sorry.
What do you guys do that? Are you in flash dance?
Yeah, one person. Ladies and gentlemen, the screen is full and the time is for Bruce. Starting right now.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bruce, and actually, as far as the photography goes, I've been doing this a long time, as you probably guessed already. And so, basically, I like documentary photography, and so as time goes on, I've been doing more and more design and creative things. I showed you some creative pictures a few days ago, and so I actually did 2 sets of images for tonight, but I was trying to do one had more, and I thought if I started doing that, that would probably take way more than my 3 or 4 minutes allocated. So I decided that one of the things I want to do is to do more presentations and collections of images, not just single images. So what I did was I got some images from Svalbard, which is an island halfway between the top of Norway and the North Pole. It's one of the most pristine habitats still left in the world. It was one of the reasons why I decided to take this course, because of the wildlife there, and you've heard me talk about polar bears. So I'll go through and show you a few images. This one is one of the, there's five major islands. This one I call Room with a View. If you look over in the corner, there's a house. Although nobody lives there, it's a fishing village. There's also a bit of a color shift on this. The islands are very varied. There are some that are very flat. There's some that are very high cliff. This one is full of nesting birds. We're there at the end of August. The birds have mainly left, but it's one of the world's largest bird sanctuaries, other than South Georgia and some of the ones in Antarctica. Many glaciers, and each of the islands have fjords and with glaciers coming down to the ocean, great patterns on the glaciers. This is one that was calving. That glacier is about 100 feet high. You hear a big crack, then all of a sudden you see the face start to move, big sploosh. Those are kittiwakes on the flock of kittiwakes, those little dots at the bottom. And then you wait for the wave to come, because you don't know how much ice is coming off, and you're in a zodiac, so you have to be a little concerned about the wave. This is the 3rd largest ice sheet in the world that people don't know about. After Antarctica and Greenland, it's one of the islands. This ice face here is another 100-foot high ice face. Big rivers coming off the side there, and it goes for 200 kilometers along the coast like that. Very spectacular. This is one of the low islands, and in the very high distance, you're talking about 600 miles from the pole or so, and it's the winds are circumpolar at that point, and so you get, this is very typical of that kind of landscape where you have the layering of the winds and the land. This is the edge of the ice. This is where everything happens. You cruise north of the islands for a couple 100 kilometers. It's all water. All of a sudden you come to some ice in the water. That's the edge of the Arctic ice sheet, and that goes directly all the way to the pole. There's some open ice at the start, and then it gets into heavier pack ice, and then it's solid ice. It's not thick. It's 15, 20 feet at the most, Russians have ships that will take you right to the pole. Most of the life is around the edge of the ice. The seals are around the edge of the ice, and the polar bears live on the seals. And so that's polar bear in habitat. You know, they live pretty much solely in the area. So you see, there's a ivory gull and a polar bear kill. The bear itself, huge paws.
Bruce, no, why?
No, and they live on the islands in the summer. They basically fast because there's no seals. And the purple sandpiper, birds, reindeer. That's a small bird reindeer. The rut was just starting, so they were in rut at the time. Okay. Rule month with a feather. They have red feet. And that's the one with polar bears. That's, I call it polar bear ballet.
So clearly you have stunning photographs. You've got a long history of travel around the world, so you've accumulated a huge library of beautiful photographs. And I think we're all in awe of them for sure. They're really nice. And we just need to teach you how to talk a little bit less about them. I mean, you're the type of photographer who needs an hour's presentation. But learning how to give just a 5-minute presentation is an art. So maybe fewer photos, so that you can talk longer about a few.
Well, that's why I put them all in small bars, so I thought I could just hit them.
That was a good choice to keep.
Rather than trying to do in different subjects.
Absolutely. Good choice.
Where were you when you took this photograph? You were like on the ice or on the boat?
This one I was on a ship, but it was a small ship. There was only 40 photographers on the ship. So, and then we took Zodiacs off the ship. So some of them were off Zodiacs. They won't let you off the ship if there's a polar bear in the area because it's too dangerous. Because, you know, if you saw the polar bear that was up close looking at you, you're, no offense, but dinner. So.
All right, Cassidy's up next. Becky's taking the hot chair.
But B.
No, it's great, Rebecca.
Oh,
Ah, yes, with these kinds.
I know, I'm looking at the like selfie everyone. Oh, yeah.
Is that the end?
I felt like I wanted to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
We're making pretty good time so far. I feel like we need full screen. I feel like we go full screen.
That's a nice tip.
Good call.
Ready to roll?
Yeah.
So the all right, here we go.
So, just find grows any shape that suits the light, suits the wind, suits itself. Milton Acorn said that, and then I added on as an So, I began taking photos on auto. As a kid, I was like running around, taking pictures of everyone, everything, and I didn't know anything about controls or f-stops or anything. I only knew that I could be creative with composition and perspective. So I tend to, with this photo I took just with a point and shoot, but I knew if I got low and took it up, it would be more interesting than just taking it straight on. And I also relied heavily on taking photos of my sister
and like setting up photo shoots, and like if she wasn't around, then I would do like weird self-portraits and like, just try to be really creative. But now I've kind of shifted away from that. So I'm going to describe my style in the terms that Brendan has laid out, but I will first just go through some of my photos. So clearly I really like candid portraits. I really like natural lighting. My subjects are usually one person in the photo or nature. I love photos outside mostly, sometimes inside, but again, like still lots of relevance to the outdoors. Timing is always in the moment, really like reflective or showing lots of emotion. I love evening sun and shooting details. I don't often use a flash. I have the Canon 70D and I usually tend to use the 50mm lens. And I like the background when it falls out of focus. Yeah, I really like playing with sun and light. Composition and perspective, I tend to shoot portraits eye level and then nature either above or below, even though some of these are straight on as well. Editing and adjustments, I usually fiddle around with all the adjustments a bit and then go until I feel that I like it enough. But I do tend to draw a lot of contrast or shadows, and I really like when the darks are really vibrant and the lights, I usually turn down the highlights. So what's next? Using my photos with trendy text and quotes. So this is a photo I took and then I added this text because it's like this side organization thing that I'm doing with my sister. We're doing kind of illustrations and stuff. Or even adding just like a really inspiring quote or something has lots of power, just like an image does. So it kind of has a double take. And then in addition, portraits and stories. So a lot of my pictures have just portraits, but I would really love to add a story that goes with it. Or even like a quote of what was going on or setting, or really break it down. So this photo I actually took a while ago, but when I was reflecting back and looking at my style and trying to figure it out, I was just like, oh, that photo really speaks to me instead, which is interesting because now as my style has changed, but yeah, I would love to have this photo and then a little story or a little quote or something along with it. Any questions?
Could you explain the Ludlam sisters a bit more?
Oh yeah, if you're interested. So my sister and I love to do doodles and stuff, and so we're just kind of doing a lot of doodles of Northern Ontario, and it's just beginning, so it's quite interesting. But that's kind of like our cover photo for our stuff. And then,
I really like the light that you like. Like this is a gorgeous photograph. It's a really beautiful time of day, and you know most cameras on auto would take it much brighter. Of course, it would blow out that light, but you know you've got the skill to bring it down, and it's a really kind of quiet and subdued light, and it matches the fonts and the kind of branding that you're using with your side viz, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Am I coaching?
I'm sorry. Good. I thought you had really good personality information. I thought your gentleness came through a lot. You had a really long, super long pause when you were going through.
Yeah.
And I remember in Dave's class when that happened, he kind of suggested like different ways of filling that. So maybe like asking
question or something. So that could have been something that you could have gone to just to fill the gap. And I don't know if you're supposed to have notes or something up there or not. Like I always find them like a comforting thing.
Yeah.
So I always like it, but I know sometimes people say like you shouldn't have it up there because normally you wouldn't be in that situation where you can have to. So yeah.
That's kind of 50-50 either way with the notes, or that's what, like sometimes
Yeah,
it's
but
really
it's-
helpful, sometimes it's not.
It basically said what I had on the screen, which I scrolled past instead of like saying all the words. I just went to the images and I took that and put that on my page.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I can reference to it.
sometimes it's I don't know, it depends on the person really.
And sometimes silence during talks, especially with portfolios, it's okay to just it's okay to just look at the photos
Yeah.
and take them in. But it's good for the audience to know if that's what you want for us to do. If it's intended, yeah.
Slide your comment.
Can you just click slideshow? Matthew.
You man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, so we've got 5 minutes for Danielle, and here she goes.
Alright, so hi everyone. Before we get into my actual photos, I just wanted to tell you all that I have very bad eyesight. When I was in grade 2, I was prescribed, I guess, but before then, I was the kid who got hit in the face with a dog ball that I didn't see coming, or was failing out of my classes, and on road trips couldn't see anything we drove by. So that's a bit about me. But finally, in grade 2, I had a teacher who went up to my parents and said, "I think your daughter needs glasses." So I went to the eye doctor, and if everyone could just put their hands out like this, he said that I could not see past my fingertips without glasses. Beyond that, things got distorted and the clarity faltered. So it was kind of a hard life, but now putting glasses on and having the capacity to share with you all what is at our fingertips and the wonderful world that we get to see and share together, I'm pretty thrilled that I'm in a program where we get to do this together. So let's jump in. I got my camera 8 weeks ago. So we're gonna take a journey over the last 8 weeks. There's 8 photos to represent each one of those weeks. This is the first day I went out with my camera. We went to a local park, and the ISO, despite the hard natural daylight, it's at 6400. So I obviously did not know what I was doing, but now thanks to Brennan and you guys, I do know a bit better how to deal with that.
If you hit the right hand there, it should.
Okay, so since then, I've just kind of taken my camera on walks with me and tried to capture anything that I found was interesting. So maybe the bee's eye isn't in focus, but at least got his wing. And that was a triumph for me. I also am generally attracted to things that are clear and very colorful. So vibrancy and saturation are often things that I change when I'm editing my photos. This one took at the BioBlitz, changed the vibrancy in the sky, so it has a bit of a purple tint, which is my favorite color, obviously. And I think it highlights a bit, the trees a bit more. This one also at the BioBlitz, I really love that his face is framed by the net. So just kind of different lighting. Sometimes it gets in the way of the photos, but I genuinely like it anyways. Yeah. These are my siblings, all 2 of 5 of them. I don't know, there's 6 of us, but 2 of 5 other ones. We were going to the park to sit on a swing that fit us. And I just like this moment, the light is hitting my little brother's face really nicely. So love that one. This one I put in to kind of demonstrate, first of all, the colors really brightened up the sky, but also that this class has taught me to look up, down, and around me to capture different styles
or different styles of the object that I would have normally just taken from the standard perspective. Or just kind of not confident enough in myself. But last week I took a chance, and it was also a photograph I've been trying to get for a while, but during the day when the sun is hitting that window, it just is brutal. So I was glad to kind of get that, and I got to try it out with a bunch of different styles of different shutter speeds, and I settled on this one because the cab mimics the color in the poster, and I love it. Yeah, so that's my evolution. Where I'm going with my photography, I don't really know yet, other than to improve my styles and kind of just see wherever life takes me and grasp everything that comes into my view.
I really like the story that you used to start, very personal. It talked about childhood, so we can all relate to childhood. We've all been there, so it's a universal sort of hook. And making us all hold up our hands too is a really powerful thing to engage your audience. Last year, Jay Nichols talked about his blue marble project, and he held up a blue marble, and just getting the audience to do something like hooks them to you. So that was a very powerful move too. And I love the idea of using one photo per week of the last 8 weeks. Great way. Good talk.
Yeah, your ending was very good. It related to all your pictures you showed, because there's no consistent thing that you're going for. You got this shot, you have forward shot, you have the bat shot. Everything is new, and it brings a new feel to the person that's viewing it. And they have different opinions depending on who they are. And if no one's ever seen this before, they're gonna probably think it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Anyone else?
Your speaking is unbelievable. It's really great listening to you. You could just go on for a while. So.
I wasn't sure if it was a laugh or a cry.
It's just him. And Lisa is the next one. It's
Or this.
Just like can't read the word.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Enjoy the hot seat. All right, the next 5 minutes are for Diana.
Okay, first I'm going to give a little introduction about me. I love to be behind the camera and take me in the picture when I take pictures of me. I really love dogs with all my heart. I am very passionate about nature, but most of animals, not that much with plants. I love to drive. I like to take pictures with my phone too, and with my camera. That's what I do next. So I start with those are the animals from my thesis. So the behavior of those animals are awesome, and I fall in love about that. This was 3 years ago. So my story started there. Those are animals. I love to take pictures of dogs. When I walk in the streets, I like to take pictures of dogs. That's my So yeah, I start to approach with my macro to the animals. I feel that they have a lot of take this photo was with a flash. It was at night, it's a frog. But with daylight you can do a very good macro too. It's just the sun. I like a lot to play with the but I like
Silhouettes?
silver, yeah, with the sun in the front of your camera. This without flash too. It's a mantis. I love to make the effect of the blue background. Yeah, it's with a map.